is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're getting your week off to a good start. Shout out to any new subscribers. So, it seems like some people over at Warner Brothers just cannot get over the fact that Zack Snyder's Justice League happened and it came out and it was released and it's a success and people like it beyond the fan base. There is a Variety article that came out, which is very long. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I'm just going to focus on a certain section. It's basically talking about kind of all of these challenges facing the new leadership at WB since Discovery took over and they are now Warner Brothers Discovery. The title is From Batgirl Fallout to Rebooting Superman: All the Landmines Facing the Next DC Chief. It kind of just goes through the different challenges facing the DC live action universe and all of these things that they have to tidy up and figure out with the live action DC universe moving forward. And at the end of the article, it has all these subtitles kind of breaking down the different challenges that they are that they are facing and trying to figure out solutions for. And then at the end of the article, there's a subtitle, Winning Over the Fans. So it says, privately, studio insiders have lamented that Zack Snyder's Justice League never should have happened. Rather than quiet the unceasing online campaign to release the Snyder Cut, the 4-hour HBO Max feature only further entrenched the vocal and extremely online Snyderverse fanbase in opposition to the leadership at the studio in general and at DC in particular. The group may be hard to win over, but DC has to do a better job of cultivating the kind of compelling franchises that will enable them to build up the kind of passionate, engaged, and excited fan base that can drown out the haters. That takes patience, which has often been in short supply at DC, where corporate overlords have long made it clear that they want their own in-house rival to the MCU, but have failed to understand the kind of blood, sweat, and tears it can take to build that kind of juggernaut. So, a couple things about this section of the article. I do agree that one of the major challenges facing David Zaslav and the new people that he is putting in place to oversee the DC franchise, obviously they have to win over the fans, but it's obvious that the old leadership created this situation that made it hard for fans to trust them when it comes to handling DC. Why? Because of everything that happened with Justice League. They lied to everybody regarding the changes that they were making. So that's what made it so much worse, was that they didn't just completely change and destroy the movie. They lied about it. And they had everyone else lying for them. So why would your fans, you think your fans that have been waiting so long to see a Justice League movie live action on screen, especially fans who love Henry Cavill Superman, love Ben Affleck's Batman, love in the introduction of Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, Wonder Woman. Can't wait to see the Flash, Cyborg, Aquaman being brought in. Of course, those fans are going to become upset. And people that were, they took advantage of the fans trusting them and putting out all of these lies, and then taking advantage of the situation that was happening in Zack's family. Of course people are going to be upset. I think, especially now that all these these articles are coming out, I think as well, because the old leadership they're gone. They're done. They can't have any more control over this. And so they're still, putting out their feeler, telling people that they have in media, put this out there, say that this is happening, put this out there, so that way it could still make Zack and the fans look bad. When in reality, they created the situation. They were upset that the fans wanted what we were told we were going to get. That's not the fans' fault. Obviously, there's always going to be more extremely bitter parts of the population of a group of a fandom, but that is not the majority of the fan base. And fans have a right to be upset. Obviously, you don't need to take it to the point of making threats and things like that. No, but fans The consumers, the people who pay you, the people who spend money to watch these movies, the people who are invested in these characters, not to mention the cast, crew, and director who worked on this movie, they are invested in that. And it's fair for people to be upset that everyone was lied to and that the cast was forced to lie about it to save face for the studio. And then when things started coming to light, I mean, I've said this 1,000 times. All you have to do is watch the Justice League in theaters and the trailers, and you know that so much stuff was changed and reshot. So that was just like the most basic level of knowing that they destroyed the movie. So I agree that they do need to win over the fans because the old leadership created a situation where fans don't want to trust them moving forward with DC because of how they've handled their characters. They've pushed Henry Cavill to the side. They destroyed Wonder Woman's sequel. They gave her a terrible sequel to a great origin story. Yes, there's things to like about Wonder Woman 84. I know that. But it pales in comparison to her first movie. Okay? Trying to get rid of Ben's Batman, which the new leadership has made it clear that they don't want to do that. And not even like, just trying to ignore the fact that there's a huge outcry for Henry Cavill to come back as Superman. Now, hopefully, we're hoping that the new leadership is also fixing that situation. So, yes, they have a huge mess to clean up. They do need to win over the fans, but it's not just because of, the Snyderverse community is vocal. It's because the old leadership put the studio in that situation by losing the fans' trust, by making people upset that they're lying about what they are going to release and still putting Zack's name on the movie. It's like, of course, people are going to be upset. So yes, they do need to win over the fans, but it's not really fair to paint it in a way that making it seem like it's because the Snyder Cut shouldn't have happened because it made the tension between the fans and the studio worse. No, the studio made the tension between the fans and WB worse. They did that, and that's why in the thumbnail I used the old Warner Brothers logo instead of the new one, which I've used in more recent thumbnails, because it's the old leadership that has caused all of this and this huge mess that the new people now have to clean up. I didn't want to use the new logo that I've used in more recent videos because it's not their fault. They're just here to hopefully make the necessary changes to repair the relationships, because the article also mentions repairing relationships between people who work on, cast members, people, including the people for Batgirl, or, just people who have been in these movies that are like, should we invest our time into these movies in these characters if the movies are just going to get destroyed? And directors, I'm sure they have a lot of relationships to repair. And just their image showing that directors can trust them, fans can trust them, that is going to take time. And I do appreciate that the article points out that the previous leadership did not understand that if they want to compete with Marvel, it's going to take time to build up the universe and build up the fan base to get to that level, which they had a really good start with Man of Steel and BVS, but in their minds, $1 billion was the only standard, and that was the only, metric for success. And that's why? Because did Marvel start out making $1 billion their first couple movies out the gate? Absolutely not. It was just the worst way to measure the success of those movies and to not stand behind their own universe and what they started with. So it took a while to build that up. And the previous people at DC and Warner Brothers just did not, they just wanted to come out the gate and make $1 billion. Oh, well, it's Superman. Oh, well, it should make that much money because it's, Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman on screen for the first time in live action. Yeah, it made very close to $1 billion. It made a lot of money. The sad thing is that so many people have pointed out that if they had just, had faith in their own universe and their own characters, if they just had faith in that, instead, no, we're sticking to it. We're not going to be a copycat. We're not going to try to copy what Marvel's doing. We're going to do our own thing. We're going to, tap into our strengths. We're going to show how how DC is different. We have our own thing to offer, and we're going to stick the course. And if they would have done that, they would have been, when Zack Snyder Justice League came out, they would have been leagues ahead of Marvel. And I don't say that in a way to make Marvel look bad. No. But they would have been like, whoa, like, it would have shown like, wow, they are showing what they can do differently. They are showing that they have their own things that they can focus on and their own strengths that they can play to. They don't have to be the same as Marvel. They can do their own thing and stand out and have something different to offer. But they didn't do that. They got scared, and everything the old regime did was very reactionary to critics and to people complaining that it wasn't like Marvel. So they figured, well, we just have to do the same thing. Just copy them. No. And so now hopefully the new leadership is coming in and is hopefully recognizing that that is not the way to go, which I think they do recognize that. Otherwise, they wouldn't be getting rid of the people that were there and bringing in new people. The structure, yes. If there's one note to take from Marvel, it's to have a structure and to have a plan and stick to the plan. Not to react and change at every little, oh my God, the critics didn't like this. Oh my God, they didn't like that. Oh my God, what we had to change? No! Stick to your plan. Yes, there are going to be changes that come about, but have a structure. And don't just react to every little thing. There's always going to be people that don't like your stuff. You cannot please everybody. And when you try to please everybody, you end up with mediocre movies or mediocre whatever it is that you create because you're too afraid to do something different. But you don't blame the fact that Zack Snyder's Justice League came out on their own. It was their fault. The whole thing that happened was their fault. And it seems like now that new leadership is coming in and taking over, there's people that are still just salty about the situation. And I think fans would have respected them so much more if they had just owned up to what happened. Of course, that was never going to happen. It never is going to happen. But there are obviously still people who just cannot accept it. And don't blame the fans on creating this tension towards the studio or like a distrust for the studio. That was their fault. The fans didn't lie. The studio is the one who lied to everybody. There was even anonymous executives who came out and said they all knew what a piece of crap 2017 Justice League was. You don't blame that on the fans for being, hello, they knew it was terrible. They knew it was horrible. And they still chose to release it. That's exactly what David Zaslav doesn't want to do. They want to see how they can make these movies better. Don't blame it on Zack or the fans or his movie. It was the studio's fault. And it always will be. That's never going to change. So, thankfully new leadership is coming in and can hopefully turn things around for the better. And I think that it was a good thing that the fact that Ben Affleck is going to be in Aquaman 2, I feel like it was a good thing that got accidentally revealed before it was supposed to, because it's showing that hopefully they are making these changes right now. Because with all these movies coming out in the near future, if they want to make those changes, they have to do it now. And the fact that they brought back Ben to be in Aquaman 2 and are hopefully changing the end of The Flash, those are good signs that they are making the correct changes and to put DC back onto a good path and paying attention to what the fan base wants. It's kind of like the old regime was like, it would make them look like a doormat, or like it made them look like, it's like they were too good to listen to the fans and give in to what they wanted because they knew they had made a mistake. So hopefully now the new regime is kind of recognizing where the old leadership went wrong and making the changes they need to get their fan base, to get that trust back from their fan base, and also creatives, directors, people to come and make these movies and trust the studio is not going to be meddling and just changing everything. So I just wanted to share that. I thought it was kind of interesting. And I do hope that the new leadership does do the right, make the right moves to gain the trust back of the fans and show us that they are, and that they take this as a serious issue, and that they're, they do want to right the wrongs of the old leadership. So thank you guys for watching. Check out the links in the description and any videos you might have missed recently. I appreciate all of the support. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.